guest on a podcast called J is for Justice.
I think there's just hope that she returns no matter what. Oh my God, that's Megan's house. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And then, wait a second, you guys. We have breaking news. All of a sudden, in the chat, there was breaking news that there was a raid going on in Houston, Texas. It says it may be connected to a high-profile case.
That's her best friend. She would not be there.
Hey everybody, welcome to J is for Justice. I am Jay. I am your host. Thank you for joining me tonight. I do have a special guest. I was reading chat and it's not who you guys are wondering. As you can see from the picture on Zoom, it's definitely not Lori. I don't think that's Lori. We actually have, no, it's not. Lori, your voice has gotten deep. Happy birthday, by the way. Well, I've got Melissa B. You guys all recognize her. Hey, Melissa. I'm good. And then we have Carl. Carl is my special guest. And Carl runs a group on Facebook, True Crime Underground, Lori Daybell Cult Mom. Did I get that right? All right. So Carl has covered this case and oh my God. Are you kidding me? I had y'all muted. Oh my God. You know, it wouldn't be right if I didn't do something stupid like that.
You always have me muted.
So hey, Carl.
Hey.
Hey, Melissa.
Hey, Jay.
Oh, you can hear them now. All right. Very good. Very good. So Carl has this group and he has all of these members, 15,000 members?
Yeah, just over.
And you started this group. Why? What does True Crime Underground do?
Okay, well, we just go in and we dig into just whatever cases. Usually, there's a couple of us, and we just usually pick a case that's close to where one of us lives, so that we probably know people related to the case, and we have an easier time getting information or getting more involved. And so this time, actually, though, we had a group for the Mormon massacre for the FLDS, whatever those guys are down there on the border, and the cartel blew them up, all three cars, women and children. So we had a group for that. And then one of our group members messaged us and said, hey, there's this case there's this lady that's talking about how grandkids are seeing, and her daughter-in-law killed her brother. And we're like, what? So we start talking about that chatter within our own private chat. And then, right around Thanksgiving, we decided to open up a group and get it started. And information just came flying in nonstop. It was so hard to keep track of. There's so many people.
Oh, I'm sure. I was a part of the Chris Watts group, and we blew up overnight, and it was insane. I had to have a lot of moderators and administrators in there. So I feel you. So do you live close to this case, like where the Daybells are from and where Lori lived and all that?
Well, I'm in Salt Lake City, so I'm somewhat close to in the middle of Rexburg and Springville, where Daybell was from. But he had a lot of ties with the area, being, Salt Lake City being basically a high Mormon population. So he was a pretty familiar person with all his books being sold at the Mormon bookstores. And they call it Small Lake City because everyone knows each other. So
They call it Small Lake City.
Yeah, like everyone like the seven, what is it, the seven something of Kevin Bacon. Well, it would be like the two something of Kevin Bacon here in Salt Lake.
Prepper wants to know, is the lake really salty?
Is it?
Yeah, it's actually I think it's salty. It's saltier than the Dead Sea.
Yes, you guys.
Wow.
This is Carl Danger. Stranger Danger is what you're being called in the chat. So, all right. So you live in Salt Lake City. So you're about what, 4 hours away from Rexburg, right?
Yeah, give or take.
Something like that. So
Yeah.
tell me what you've done. Tell me what you've uncovered. Let's start with, you want me to pick a person?
Go for it. Yeah, you hit me with, there's so much going on. There's so many
So how
players.
about,
There's so much info. So you just hit me with something and we'll talk.
all right. So let's just, I'll throw out a person there. Let's talk about Melanie.
Which one?
Oh, Melanie Pulowski.
Pulowski. All right. Well, where do you want me to start? Like what we first found out about her?
Yeah, I mean, I
Like,
think pretty much everybody
who she
here
is.
knows the basics, like who she is. You know, Melanie P is Lori's niece. She's Aunt Lori,
Correct.
right? Sister is dead. Her mother is dead. Now, do you know anything about that? About Melanie's mother's death?
We know that the entire Cox family was in Hawaii at the time, and this is when her mother's name was Stacy, and she was apparently on her deathbed. You know, didn't have long to live. She was extremely sick, and the whole family just packed up and left and went on vacation to Hawaii and left Alex. You know, Mr. Wonderful. So he's behind. He's watching out for her. Well, she dies, and he's like, "Oh, let me start using her credit card before the cops get here." So he starts buying random shit. You know, he's I don't know. We don't know when exactly he started being shady like that, but that's like the first eye opener right there that maybe there was something up with this guy, because this was before we knew too many details about that he had attacked the third husband.
Yeah.
And that he had told, Lori had told her friend in Hawaii that she had her brother try to kill Joe Ryan, Lori's third husband. So we knew Alex was, I don't know if he has a bad temper. He just seemed like he was easily manipulated and controlled. Like Lori had something over him that he didn't want anyone else to know, and he would do anything for her to keep that from coming out.
Mm-hmm. I've gotten that feeling too, and I've had a few theories on like what could have gone on in their family with between the two of them. For those, they had some really, really strange dynamics.
There was apparently a huge fight that broke out between Lori and Alex one night out in front of the house, and it was so bad that neighbors came out, and but apparently some of the neighbors like had messaged us and told us about it, but they wouldn't say exactly what they were talking about. They were just saying that whatever it was, Lori was saying that you're an embarrassment to the family. We're all ashamed of you. I can't believe you did this to us. So, you know, you go back and think of what embarrasses families. You try to pick at some things and kind of see if you can get some leads. Mm-hmm. And then we ended up, one of the guys in the group was a mission companion of Alex. So he starts talking to us, giving us a little more detail. tells us about what was going on in his mission. Well, he didn't give too many details, but he would say, I caught him doing something so disgusting. I called my mom crying, and he wouldn't tell us what they talked about or what it was.
Was this when they were younger? Or?
He would have been like 19, 20 years old while he was on his mission.
Okay. Wow.
So whatever it was so disgusting that he had to call home and talk to his mom about it. And it ended up happening like 2 to 3 times, I think. But
he wouldn't say what it was?
He wouldn't say exactly what it was.
Did he give you any clues?
We have clues. We have different people close to the family. One who said that they know that 100%, not a rumor, that Alex would save up his money and go on vacation in Colombia and just go get a bunch of hookers and go crazy.
Wow.
Then there were some rumors about what kind of hookers, but not going to touch on. I don't really want to go into that one just because that's one that we for sure can't verify.
Oh, okay.
But that part is still just a rumor as far as what we know.
So this thing that he was doing that scarred this guy, did he state it was like something sexual?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't know what. There were a couple people who had talked to other people growing up with Alex, and when the case first started, people still kind of wanted to defend him. Like, oh, Alex wouldn't do anything. He's a nice guy. And then they would send us links to his YouTube skits. Like, see, look how funny he is. See, here's Alex doing impersonations of all these people. See how funny he is? He wouldn't hurt anyone. And then obviously, as more and more details kept coming out about the case, his supporters started dropping off like flies.
Wow.
And then, okay, so this is another weird thing. His sister Summer I don't know if you saw it, his sister Summer made a YouTube tribute video to Alex.
Yep.
Okay, but she didn't include a single picture of Tyler or JJ. And this was, how long before Chad was arrested and the bodies were uncovered and the affidavit was released.
I noticed that as well.
Interesting. Yeah, so
interesting.
Very interesting. So what I was saying before the affidavit, the video. So, and then Summer had contacted us, one of our admin, and was like going ballistic on her. Like, I can't believe you would. I don't know. They kind of accused her of basically stealing her.
Oh, the YouTube video.
Her private video because it was unlisted.
Oh, the YouTube video.
The family sent it out.
Oh, well, if it's unlisted, anybody can get that link.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have it on private if you don't want anyone to see it but you.
Yeah. So she didn't realize that.
She was upset about that. Why would that make her so upset? Was she being scrutinized for not having the kids in there?
Well, I don't know if she was. I think the whole reason Summer actually found out is because when we posted the link and we shared it out into the group, people from the group went and instead of commenting in our group on the video post, they started commenting on the YouTube video. So, Summer had to have been like, what the hell's going on?
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
And then she was like, Mother of God, what have I done?
Yeah.
Kind of had a spaz attack. But something else that's kind of weird about that is when the Cox family sent out their, total pre-written script of after the kids were found when they were so sad and all that. The date on there was wrong. The date was dated the beginning of May.
I saw that. It was dated as a release for May 18th, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
And then it came out June, I don't know, was it 6th or whatever date it came out?
Yeah, like almost a month later.
Yeah, I caught that too. And somebody had said and explained it as being like a, you know, a pre-written letterhead type thing, but why with that date on it?
It totally could have been a pre-written letter. People use templates all the time, just copy paste. Didn't change the date, but we hadn't seen anything else come out on that date. So, well, look, they have something for this on this day also.
Well, and it really wasn't even their statement; like it was given through their attorney, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember reading it, Carl, and I was like, "This is kind of like a cold statement." You read all the other ones, and these people sounded really distraught, and then you read the Cox family. And it was literally written through their lawyer, and it was so generic. Like there was no feeling behind it. Do you know about the dynamics between all of the siblings and the parents and that? Do you have any scoop on that?
Well, we know, first of all, we know that sister Stacy, Janice and Barry's daughter, had health issues, and she passed away around Alex.
Oh, wow.
So we don't know if that caused any problems, any issues with that, but that's one snag that we've seen with the family. Then her other son, Adam, he lives in Kansas. Actually, I think he just moved to St. George. But up to the beginning of the case, up till a couple months ago, he lived in Kansas, and he had lived in Utah and California before that. And he had a pretty public national incident where his name was out there. So, let's see, what was it? It was like it was some radio competition in Sacramento where there were like 5 contestants or whatever, and they had to sit and drink water and not go to the bathroom. And the person that could hold out the longest got the wee, and someone ended up dying because of the water intake. Mm-hmm. And so all the DJs and everyone that was a part of it pretty much got thrown under, and
he was
let
one
go.
of them?
Yeah, and he was one of them, and he wasn't able to get a job for a while. So the Cox go back to think about Lori talking about Alex and shaming the fans. I think that something like that would have pissed off Janice and Barry. So you have that with Adam, and then you have Lori with her known 4 husbands at the time, and I think it was like 3 divorces because she was still married to Charles. But you go back and look at Janice and Barry, and they have like serious issues with money problems. Like they've been sued by the IRS for stealing money, hiding money, moving it around, not paying taxes.
Oh, wow.
Um,
so this is Lori's parents.
Yeah. And then we had heard a rumor that Alex stole money from, that Alex had stolen money from his parents, and that Summer had stolen money from her parents, but it was like a separate incident. Like we didn't know exactly what it was. And then a family member messaged us the other day and told us, like, hey, bombshell, you guys were talking about this. This was one incident. Barry he was going into jail for tax evasion, whatever, and he was going to have to, so he started to hide his money and move it around. So he put the family house's name under Alex. And when Alex, once Barry was in, Alex did something with the mortgage. I don't know what exactly. They said like second mortgage or reverse mortgage, something. And he and Summer basically took that $250,000 and screwed the parents over.
Oh my God.
And Summer used it to go to cosmetology school. And Alex used some of it on hookers in Colombia. So.
Wow.
I didn't know her parents had money problems.
Me either. I didn't know any of that.
Neither did I.
Oh, yeah.
Let me catch up, everybody. If you're just joining, because we've got like 500 now. I'm talking to Carl Danger. He is from True Crime Underground, and they have the Facebook group Lori Daybell Cult Mom, and he's got some inside scoops from people close to the players in this case. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but everybody's like, "Who's talking? Who's talking?" They all love your shirt too.
Perfect.
Someone said in chat that I think Barry posed as an attorney as well.
Yes.
What?
He and then he lost his license. So I don't know what exactly he did, or what kind of, it could be his writing policies or something like after, but he went and did everything in Janice's name. So it was like Janice suddenly was capable of having her own job and was able to write all these policies and everything. And then they got caught. So then she lost her license and they were in trouble for that too. But pretty much they're shitty people.
Wow, I knew none of that.
Neither did I.
Oh, he actually spent time in jail.
Yes.
Someone in chat said that he wrote a book about how to get out of paying taxes. You know anything about that?
It sounds familiar, but I didn't do any reading or anything into it or on it. I know there were admins in our group that there's so much stuff to go through. It's just like some stuff you just kind of got to be like, you know what? I don't even care about this. Like, I'm just going to keep focusing on
right. Like you have to prioritize. You have to prioritize the craziness.
Someone also said Barry got arrested for soliciting a prostitute.
Is that true?
I don't know. That one doesn't sound familiar to me, but that would be not surprising.
It sounds like this family's a bunch of shysters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're a bunch of shitbags.
Okay, so let's talk about their beliefs for a minute. Because I'm not clear on this because I know nothing about the Mormon church. I mean, like, not very much. So what I'm understanding from what I've heard is that, like, their beliefs are totally different than what Chad and Lori were believing when all this went down. Is that true?
You know, I have a lot of Mormon family members and I love them to death, but they do a really good job at deflecting. If there's a problem, if there's an issue, instead of addressing it and making sure it never happens again or dealing with the problem, they kind of just close their eyes and like, well, doesn't affect me.
Yeah,
you know,
just stick
I'm
their
not
head
part of it, so I'm
stick their
not
head
going
in
to
the
look at it.
sand. Yeah, gotcha.
Exactly. And so that's how this kind of.
But as far as like the whole doomsday thing,
yeah, it's like he just took the extreme of everything.
Gotcha.
Like Mormons they're taught to prepare. So if there's a natural disaster or something like that, they have food in a storage pantry.
Right, like they're preppers.
And,
like prepper.
yeah, but the name prepper now is like more associated with like guys that get out of the military and just don't give a shit anymore and want to go out into the mountains and get away.
Live off the land.
Exactly. These guys like want to be a part of society and, you know, go to the temple, do all their stuff, but they just save up food, rations. They get, they might, different parts of them, they have big families. So let's say like one family might focus on one aspect and the other family focuses on something else. So they each don't have a little bit of something. Like each family will have a lot of one thing and they're the person to go to for that.
Kind of like your group, kind of like how each person in your group has their own expertise and specialty, right? Same deal.
Yeah.
They kind of plan it out like that where they take care of one another if something were to happen.
And that's one thing that the Mormon church does really well. They take care of their own.
So, all right. So that brings me to my next. All right. So where do I want to go from here? Because
I want to talk about the zombies. Like, do they really believe that?
Yeah.
Well, oh, man. So we had a guy come in. He has his own. He calls himself an ex-Mo and has like an ex-Mormon podcast and he created Mormon WikiLeaks. And when we have certain things going on in the case where it's like he's really good at knowing how the LDS church prepares, what they teach, their doctrine, all that.
Oh, nice.
And he knows a lot about all these different factions that have broken off from the LDS church and gone their own way. Like here in Salt Lake City, there's the LeBaron family, who's also in Montana, North Dakota, and Mexico. There's the Kingstons. I don't know if you've heard of the Kingston clan, but they had a casino in California. They had basically screwed a bunch of people to get into like the oil industry out in the middle of like Delta. They were and then they created their own gun company, like everything, instead of relying on someone else to get them stuff, like they just went out and bought it and built it, and they became the guy that everyone else went to. So the government, not REAP.
Hello?
I think we lost him.
Oh no, did his AirPods die?
But no.
Carl.
Yeah.
You totally cut out. I thought your AirPods died. Hey, do you have wired earbuds?
I mean, it's 2020, but I'm sure I have some somewhere.
Oh my God. Well, everybody said you sounded like you were talking out of your butthole because it was so muffled.
Look at that.
The zombies got them.
They're still in the package.
Perfect. They're brand new.
Yep.
Are you prepping already?
No.
Yeah. Give Carl a minute to get his audio.
It looks so pretty. I don't want to ruin it. Yeah. No one will argue with you on that one either. Damn it. It has a lightning and...
Well, you have a Mac, right?
Yeah.
Oh, can you... I don't think you can plug it into that.
No, it has a lightning
Yeah, for the phone.
No, it says my AirPods are like 80%.
Okay, you're fine now. You're actually good right now. Whatever you're doing, don't move.
We've been through this before. All right.
Oh my god. Yeah, put up the link to Carl's group on Facebook.
Okay, so the Kingstons are basically their own sect, and they had over $500 million repossessed or taken away by the government, and that's just what they could find. There was they got away, they moved it around so the casino was able to stay out of the government's hands, but like they took over the gun company here in Salt Lake City. It's out in West Valley. The name's escaping me right now, but like they're a pretty big, well-known gun company out there, Desert Tech. So there's all these different factions, I guess you could say, like extremists,
right? And
they're kind of just all over the place. But for some reason, in Rexburg, it seems like a vow / preparing a people. These are just two different, ways for people to meet up and for Chad and everyone else to basically use it as a recruiting tool to pick and choose like who he could manipulate into bringing into his little system. So the people that own Preparing a People, they say, we're just a small media company. We're innocent. We don't know Chad. Like, no, they kind of enabled him because they promoted every single podcast that he did. They promoted his books. They held the conferences and they did all the audio, video, the marketing. So, and every single person that's been involved in this case, like Melanie Gibb, Dan Judd, that's another guy's name who keeps popping up all over the place.
Who's that?
Dan Judd.
I've never heard
David Warwick.
Who's Ben?
Well, Dan. D-A-N.
Oh, Dan. Sorry, you're a little.
Dan.
You're just a little tad bit muffled. So Dan.
Trapped in the butthole.
Dan. It's understandable.
Yeah, so,
it's understandable. So these names are popping up, and what are they?
They're all on the. They're all on the flyers that this small media company keeps sending out, posting on Facebook. Handing out. I mean, they were handing it out at church. Like they were recruiting people at the church. So,
and this is Preparing a People, right?
Yeah, this is the company.
So they
Preparing a People.
Say they weren't affiliated with Chad. Is that what you said?
Right. They're like, we're not friends. We just worked with him and we cut ties with him long ago. And it's like, well, then why the hell is all his stuff still on your website? They're like, no, we took it down.
I was gonna say I saw that. I was looking for his podcasts and I came across that Preparing a People or whatever. And then I spoke with Julie Rowe a couple times as well, who also said that she pulled back from Chad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's call it that.
What does Carl Danger call it?
Carl Danger calls Julie Rowe a spurned lover.
Oh, what?
Julie Rowe got dumped to the curb for the new shiny toy Lori.
Those are some pretty heavy accusations, Carl.
Wait, was Julie Rowe intimate with Chad at all?
I am willing to bet a lot on it. I'm willing to bet a lot on it.
I mean, do you have proof that happened?
Well, that's one other thing I'm working on, and I'm getting close. I've got some family members that are talking. There's just some other things that are there are some details that are pretty, I don't know. It's not like talking about Alex. Not going to hurt his feelings. But Julie's still alive, and we've been told she has mental health issues. So like going into her whole thing just doesn't seem really fair at this point since she's.
I respect that. I do. I respect that.
She's involved. She's involved, whatever, regardless of what they say. But I just
as far as involved,
I have a hard time wanting to go into.
What do you mean?
Well, so they're basically calling it like a Hydra cult, where each person, like Chad, Hector Sosa, Chris Parrott, Julie Rowe, they were like they were all the same amount of power, equally leaders, each focused in their own area. Chad was like just a giant dipshit, and he did whatever he did. And Julie was like energy healing, and Hector was like dreams and visions, but they all had near death experiences that gave them these like special powers, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chris Parrott was like ex-military, just like Jason Rowe. And Hector Sosa, he says that he has counterintelligence background, and so whenever someone opens their mouth and someone starts talking, Hector comes out and he says, "Do I have to remind you what I'm capable of?" And he sends out these subtle little emails and messages in the VALLOW network, which is still up. But he had Pathway to Zion, which was up, and he shut it down because he basically said he shut down Pathway to Zion because the church was getting involved, and he did it to save everyone their temple recommends, and told everyone to lay low and just said, go away and quiet for a while, let everything die down. And so he shut that down. But Parrott's left up a vow. Parrott's the guy where the news went to his house to interview him, to ask him some questions, and he like basically came up to the front door with a gun and he was like, "Get off my lawn."
Oh yeah, I did see that. That's him.
Yeah, and there was another guy, something K Young, and he owned everything, the copyrights to a vow, whatever it was. And I don't know what the exact reason was why, but Parrott ended up buying all of that from him. And it seems like he's kind of still involved with it, but he just didn't want anything to do with running it anymore. But he's written books. They've written, I'm talking like some serious couple hundred pages of books, a couple hundred pages in each book, like 3 different books just on how to apply, go to a tent city, and how to operate a tent city, and then just wait for shit to go down. And when you go, you can download these manuals still, like today. They're still online and you can download them. But anyone that you ask for a paper copy, they're like, no, I want to hang on to this because it's some really good information. And I'm ex-military. I can tell you that it is good information, and a lot of it is accurate on like how to go. If you were to just go out into the middle of nowhere and you wanted to survive, and you wanted to start with like 12 people and then build it up to 100 and then build it up to a couple thousand, like where to put your has waste, where to put your poopers, and where to put your electricity and your water and all that. So they're not all dumbasses like Chad. Like, they're pretty smart.
So Chad, you think is a dumbass, and these people were leading him. Let's talk about. Go ahead.
I think Chad just had a personality that, like, he was just a goofy bastard, and he just made people like him. Something attracted people to him.
Kind of like his doofusness.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a doofus.
He was very good at relating things in the Mormon church to what he wanted to do with his Church of the Firstborn, and that's how he would get people. And then he would have people like Lori and Melanie Gibb. You know, they prey on someone. They wait for a family tragedy, someone's mother to pass away, and they want, you know, they're having a hard time. They want answers. And Chad or Melanie would come to him and like, well, you know, I talked to your mom last night at dinner, and she said that you look good. So then they're like, oh, really? Tell me more. And that's how they get sucked in. And then there's just more and more, like, his stuff so closely. It's not like you know, two different extremes of religion. He basically took the Mormon Church's playbook, and he picked and chose what he could manipulate and how he could manipulate these people into getting more and more of them.
Yeah, it's no different than any other religious cult, you know?
Right, but
you know?
they say that it's not related. It's not related. Like, well, how is all that related then? Because explain that to us. And then that's when you just get accused of bash. There's a lot of them out there that will talk to you about it, but they want to do it anonymous through Messenger, or they message us and ask for permission to use SOC or an alt. You know, They don't want their neighbor. They don't want their neighbor seeing them discussing this stuff, because they don't want them knowing that they're involved.
So they're scared.
I think they're worried about what people around them are going to think. You know, what is my neighbor? My neighbor's going to spread rumors about me. My neighbor's going to talk about me. And it's like, well, 2 children are dead, and you probably hold some valuable information here.
And they're worried about their reputation.
Yeah. It's like, you know that Lori and Chad were together on a camping trip in northern Utah, while Tammy and Tylee were both there with their spouse, mother. You know, when Tylee and Tammy go to sleep, and Chad and Lori are walking around together. And this is in 2017, you know, and they put out these guys put out these bogus timelines, try to throw everyone off, like, oh, I just tripped over it and I fell into this cult. I don't know what happened, but thank God Dateline's here. Thanks, Keith. You know, you've just opened my eyes. It wasn't like that at all. This is going on for years.
So that brings me to one of the questions I wanted to ask you. When did Lori and Chad first cross paths?
Well, okay, going back to what we were talking about, we know that there's like some pretty good strength rumors with some facts behind it about this 2017 camping trip in northern Utah. So, and that's like an avow thing. Like, Chris Parrott puts these on, and he thinks you can't see it, but you can still get on there, and you can see that he has one scheduled for next month up in Heber, Utah. And he tells you the exact freeway exit to exit, and exactly where to drive and park, and how far they're going to go on horse and go and camp out. So you definitely couldn't get some binoculars and go over there and spy on them for the weekend. You know,
Oh my God.
like, they're so secretive. You would definitely, if you tried just a little bit, you wouldn't be able to find this information.
All right, so we're thinking at least a couple years.
2017.
2017. When do you think the sexual part? I mean, do you think it was sexual right off the bat with Chad and Lori?
It was probably never sexual.
No,
I mean,
I don't.
I don't mean it was based on sex, but like, when did it cross that line, or do you think she felt like she had to cross that line?
For Chad, that was 100% about sex. Like, that's all what Chad was about. That was his mission he was home trying to convince Tammy into all of this or whatnot. And we don't know exactly what her, you don't know exactly what her beliefs are with Chad and whatnot, but you do know that Chad was going out and about when Tammy wasn't around, and he was telling people like we were married in a prior life, and that he did that with Julie Rowe, he did it with Melanie Gibb, he did it with Lori.
Oh my God, that was his pickup line?
And it seems like Chad would do it to one and warm up to them, get nice and close to them, and then he would see some like shiny new toy come walking into the door, and he would work his way over there. And so that he wouldn't get the last woman to leave, he would set them up with another man in the group. And that was part of the whole getting Melanie Pulowski with Ian. Because I think Ian, we went back and we found his podcast or his little blog, his journal. It started like 2016, something like that.
So it seems like everything's going to come back to sex.
For the men.
That's what it seems like.
Well, I have a question for you, and this is kind of something that I thought about. I've been thinking about the past couple days, just thinking about everything that transpired, and I wonder it seems like you found out a lot about Lori's upbringing, the kind of family she has, blah blah blah. What dynamics do you think caused her to get sucked in, so to speak, to this way of thinking with Chad? Money motivated. And I think all of her marriages were money motivated.
100%. She had other issues going on. Whatever. But I think that they were money motivated. Like she jumped onto another man like pretty quick and did what she could to keep him there. She had Charles sucked in pretty good, because look at all the bullshit she put Charles through, and Charles was still like, no, I love you. You can't leave me. Don't go.
Yeah, he wanted to help her.
Yeah. Yep.
So this woman was a user from get-go.
Oh, yeah. She had stolen like $30,000 out of his bank account. And basically
she
went
was
off and had a Hawaiian vacation.
And she was still using his credit card and his Amazon account even after he was dead.
Yeah. She was using his account.
There, Pops.
What the hell is he doing, Brian?
Oh, you cut out again, Carl.
Really? I'm gonna throw these in the damn river.
That's all right. We only missed like 5 words.
Don't worry, nothing I said was important. I can't remember what I was talking about.
Well, I was just wondering, like, do you think I was just wondering how Lori got sucked in, but you say it was money motivated on her end, and then it was obviously like sexual on Chad's end. He thought he was going to have, and that's probably the best looking woman he's had.
Oh, for sure.
Physically. I mean,
not saying anything bad about the others, but
just
Chad caught himself one of those elusive blonde Mormons,
Exactly right.
Now, who do you think wanted the children dead more so?
I think it was Lori, and Chad just went along with it.
And why do you think Lori
The
wanted
whole
them
thing's
gone?
so shady. Just Lori, before she'd even really seriously gotten with Chad around other friends, she had made comments about Tylee and JJ, mainly Tylee. Like, she treated Tylee like absolute garbage.
Really?
And Tylee stuck around for JJ, basically, to take care of JJ. That's the only thing that makes sense, because if she was done with high school and she could have moved out, she could have gone in and moved in with other family, but she stuck around. Why would she do that? We know she was taking the mental abuse. You know, Lori was playing mental gymnastics with her nonstop. There's no reason for Tylee to stick around if she could have just bailed and gone with other family.
Yeah, there was another thing that I always thought of, that I could picture Lori like body shaming her.
She did. There's family members and friends have said that she did. At Melanie's wedding, Lori purposely sent Tylee off to a little retreat and made it so she wouldn't get back to be there in time for the wedding photos.
Wow.
It's because she didn't want her in the photos.
Wow. You know, I picked up
Great
on that,
mom.
and yeah, I picked up on that in that video, the body cam after Charles died. And Kylie and her were talking to the police officer, and just the dynamics between them, I don't know, Lori seems so superficial, and I don't know, I just pictured her body shaming.
Remember that one video we seen where Tylee was talking to, I think, her friend on video, saying,
yeah.
I'm JJ's mom.
He's my kid. Yeah, that's
He's
my kid.
Yeah, it's my son.
That was
Sounds like at the end, basically, sounds like she did everything for him.
Mm-hmm.
Lori started peeling everything back like layers of an onion. You know, let's get rid of his special needs dog. You know, let's get rid of other things. You know,
So when JJ
just
was
kind of slowly
adopted,
took stuff away.
when JJ was adopted by them, do you know anything about that? Do you know if Lori was all for it, or if that was Charles, or how that went down?
I think basic understanding was that Charles and Lori were family, so JJ would be able to stay within the family. So Kay would still be able to be there as a grandma. Charles and Lori were younger, had more of a life that was fitting for JJ, like could do more to give him an active life and be able to give him what he needed.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, like, why they adopted him. I'm just wondering if Lori really wanted him, or if this was something she just agreed with to Charles. You know what I'm saying? Like, did she cherish JJ? Did she treat him differently than she treated Tylee?
It sounds like one of her friends had made a comment that Charles might have pushed into it as a way to, as Lori was kind of, maybe she was kind of going off a little bit, and having another kid would give her a focus because she didn't work. She was a stay-at-home mom. So having another kid would give her like a sense of purpose.
Yeah, direct her focus somewhere else.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's pretty sad.
It's really sad. You know, it really makes me sad to think she treated Tylee like crap, and that little girl did everything for her brother. And I would have to imagine too, I mean, I don't know how they were killed. I mean, I have no idea where it happened or what happened, but I would have to think she would have gone down fighting for JJ.
Yeah, and that's going off the GPS and the pings from Alex's phone. It looks like he went and did it when Tyler was sleeping.
Oh,
So,
really? Tell me
yeah.
more about that. Tell me more about that.
Are you familiar with the affidavit at all? That was just released when,
Yes.
like a day or two within Shadow getting arrested.
Yep.
Yeah, so they talked about the pings on there. Let me see. I'm trying to pull it up just so I can get the
I mean, I knew they picked up
date
like
and time stuff
I knew they
accurate.
picked up like his location by the red barn or the shed or whatever they called it, and they
Yeah,
knew.
within 6 meters.
Is that how close it was? I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, they said it was within 6 meters. Like that's pretty accurate.
So do whatever. I'll let you finish this, and then I want to get off track.
Sorry, I
No,
got
you're
a
fine.
message. Let me check and see. Oh, I thought it was something that was brand new and important.
It's not.
Nothing breaking.
Okay, so what? Okay, I'm gonna make this maybe a little easy to narrow down like some things to talk about. 'Cause I'm gonna have to bring you back on. Got way too much knowledge.
Go for it.
But I wanted to just say like what would you want to get out there that hasn't been in the news or we haven't seen on Dateline or read in articles? Like what do you know that maybe has just been talked about in your group and maybe not everybody who's listening right now knows? Give us the scoop.
Oh man. All right. Remember that we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Jason Moe. Okay?
Jason Rowe?
Because his name needs to be Jason Moe.
Oh,
his
Jason
name needs to be out there.
Mo.
Jason
Yes.
Moe. Yep.
Yes.
Did the podcast.
He's out there in the groups, but wasn't mentioned at all on Dateline, hasn't been mentioned at all by the police so far, but he's always there. He's always over a shoulder. He's always lingering. And he has, one of those specialties where everything points to him and then he's just standing right there,
So what do you think his involvement is?
I think he
like physically involved?
guided. I think he was a part of the plan to kill Charles and that he guided Lori and worked with her, basically groomed her into, okay, this is how the police are going to interview you. And who knows, he might have other police officers that would go to these little PAP eval meetings, firesides. So he had other people interrogating Lori beforehand to practice with her so that he wasn't the familiar face doing it. But even in the actual, interrogation, when she came in for the mental eval, the cops basically gave her like 10, 11 outs, like basically said, all right, as long as you don't do this, you can go out the door. And you know that you're not under arrest right now. And I have to go back to my desk and I have to grab something. So if you just leave, I can't stop you. And then she would still be there. And he'd be like, I have to go process some paperwork and get it by the chief. And if you're not here when I come back, well, you're not here. And we'll probably come over to your house and knock on the door. So if you don't answer the door, we can't come in and get you because this is just for your well-being. So she was definitely guided. And this is after Charles had begged and pleaded with them for help. So it wasn't like someone should have been like, this isn't right. Somebody should have said something.
So Jason Moe, did he have interactions with Charles at all?
I don't know exactly how close he was with Charles, because I don't know what Charles did with the group. We do know that Charles his family growing up was extremely religious, not LDS, but they were really religious, and that there were books written in the family. And Charles, when they moved, they had to get like 3 moving trucks to go and donate all of the prepper supplies, like food, stuff like that they couldn't bring with them. So, and that was even said by Kay, Charles' sister, like when she came down to help him move. He had all of this stuff that they just gave away. So, I mean, I think she gave a dollar amount at the time, but okay, this is what I was going for. So, the day that Charles was killed, the 11th, right?
Mm-hmm.
The following day, so Charles had a 4-door Jeep Wrangler, and it was the one that Tylee drove. Well, Charles gets shot and killed. Well, the next day, Jason Moe posts on Facebook, looking to buy a used Jeep 4-door Wrangler. Anyone know a guy?
Wow.
Yeah.
This gets deeper and like darker. Every freaking person we talk about.
Yeah. I'm sure there's someone that I think, let's see.
Was he in law enforcement?
Yes, he was.
I heard he was an ex-cop.
Chandler. Yeah, he was a cop. He was military, and then he became a cop.
Okay, so he
basically fired for sloppy police work. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I say that Jason prepped Lori for the interview, I thought that you knew that part. But that's what I was getting at, because he was a cop. He knew exactly how these interviews and interrogations went down, and the mental health assessment. Like, he knew all the questions verbatim. So
this just keeps getting crazier and crazier.
Weirder,
I'm telling you.
fucking weirder. So, have you talked to anybody like close to the case in person? Gone over that way, or you have plans to go over that way?
Like, how close? No one who's like a major player in the case. Like, I've talked to a couple people who are extremely close to them, and some comments may or may not have been said in, like, you can let them know this. But I haven't directly spoken with one of them one-on-one. They're all pretty much on non-disclosures right now between Melanie Pulowski's that thing she's got going on with Brandon. Melanie Gibb has to go testify at that, so that should be interesting.
And when is that?
Let me see. I can pull it up. It's soon. It's
July 1st.
Like,
really?
There's so many dates. Like, it.
Well, they changed their hearings from July to August. I saw that. Chad and Lori.
I think they're bringing people in for statements separately as well. It's like they're bringing one person in, like, all right, give a statement on this, do all the questions, so that they don't have to have as many people in the courtroom.
Oh.
Yeah, Melanie P's hearing is 7/1.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, so that's just next week.
Only for an hour.
Yeah.
And that's their custody thing?
Yeah, and I think that Melanie Gibb is speaking at that. I think she's testifying.
Oh, she is?
In that one. Yes.
So Melanie...
Well, I mean, I know she is. I just don't know if that's the date she is going in, but she is testifying in that.
So she's close to Melanie, and Melanie are close?
Yeah, she had made some conflicting comments, because Melanie P had made comments about her relationship with Ian and when they got together, and they didn't know something because they'd never done anything before a certain date. But then Melanie Gibb made a comment like, Melanie Plowski told me this, and she said, I think she even said it on Dateline, and everyone was like, what?
Oh.
So they've tried to change the narrative and put so many different dates and like pretend like certain things aren't going on. It's hard for them to keep track of their stories.
And now they're turning on one another, right?
Well, I don't know, because Ian, it looked like he was turning on Melanie. And then next thing you know, Melanie's like, I'm pregnant. And Ian's like held hostage right next to her.
Wow. She's pregnant?
Yeah.
How did I not know that? Melissa, do you know that?
Yes. Melanie P is pregnant? Yes.
I didn't know that.
Melissa, what have you done?
Rochelle says, talk about Ian.
Oh, man. I need to be good with like what I can say.
We should probably come back and have like Carl sit down and write things, so we're not all over the place.
That's why I kind of said, give me a couple questions that you're going to ask, and then I can kind of like write some stuff down, some serious talking points where these are the main things I want to focus on, because there's certain things that are so easy to just get into.
Well, I think
because there's so much going on, and it's all important.
I think from reading chat, like a lot of people are interested in Melanie's entire story.
And Jason,
a lot of people didn't even know who he was. And what was the other thing that a lot of people were asking about? Or that I know. Melanie, Jason. What else, you guys? There was one more that everybody was talking about, but maybe we can focus on
Chris Parrott, Hector Sosa.
Yeah, I don't think people knew who they. I don't think they know anything about that whole group. I don't even know much. I just saw their website. There's so many rabbit holes. But Ian, they want to hear about Ian as well. But that's part of Melanie's story, right? Because we go from Melanie to Brandon to Ian. So
we've been told that Melanie found Ian on Mutual, a Mormon dating app, got him 2 weeks later, they were married, but we know that Ian was aligned with Chad far more, way going back. Before Melanie even
knew him,
started going to things. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like Chad set them up. Okay, so Melanie Gibb was married. She has her kids, and she basically abandoned them for David. And we were told by Dateline and Nate Eaton that David Warwick was a saint. David rescued Melanie. David was like, hey, this isn't right. I'm going to save you. Come with me. Get in the chopper, No, David goes back just like Ian with Chad. David was speaking at these events, and that's where him and Melanie met also. So first, they tried to save their own ass by finally just snitching after a while, but they still gave Chad and Lori enough time to escape Idaho and make it to Hawaii.
So was Ian involved with the preparing a people thing?
See, that's what's weird, because like a vow is one thing, preparing a people is one thing, Chad's Church of the Firstborn is one thing, the eldest church is another thing, but Chad uses all of these things to find people and recruit people from. And so that's what the confusion is where people want to say, like, the LDS church is behind it. No, they're not. They don't have anything to do with this.
Right. He's manipulated their church.
And they can say, and that also gives the same out to preparing a people, because they're like, we're just a small media company, all we did was promote their stuff. We didn't listen. We never listened to it. We don't know what they were saying. And it's like, no, Mike and Nancy, we know you were down in St. George in the closet playing in the portal, just like everyone else.
Well,
oh yeah, there's portal stories about them all meeting up in St. George at some 75-year-old man's house, going into his basement in the closet and holding hands and doing portal time.
Oh God, I can't.
Are you kidding me?
7 minutes in Chad's portal.
Oh my God.
Oh, he had a portal.
Oh my God. This is weird. And someone just said in chat, like, can you imagine the trials for these people?
It's going to take forever.
Well, how about
someone wanted to ask about Jason being on Charles' crime scene?
Oh, on body cam or something, someone said.
On body cam.
He was around the corner, apparently.
What?
He was around the corner.
Wow.
In his car, just watching, and Lori came back, so you don't know if Lori was with Jason, and Jason was like, all right, you got to calm down. Here's what's going to happen.
And didn't Alex say something like Charles hit him with a bat, but there was never any markings on his head or anything?
Yeah, he had like a little tiny goosebump, but you don't know what it came from. And Charles was an ex-college baseball player, so if he hit Alex in the head with a baseball bat, Alex,
it would have been right.
His brains would be scattered across the ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah, look at Kelsey Barrett, right? Look at that crime scene.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Charles would have gone full Negan on his ass.
Exactly.
Lucille.
That guy, I feel so bad for him. Just, he was so desperate and to help her, and she didn't give a shit about him.
Someone asked, was Jason at the pool party afterward?
Oh yeah, who was all at the pool party?
So, in the very beginning, her landlord was in our group, and he was like, I bet you didn't know that Lori threw a pool party at the pool after. And we were all like, no, what? Like, a month later, she had a party at the pool where the shooting happened. And he's like, no, that night. We're like, what? And he basically just said he drove by and slowed down, and I think he might have taken a picture or something like that. But he kicked her out. He evicted her right after that, because he and Charles had become friends. They were buddies. So he didn't have any allegiance to Lori at all. He felt bad for the kids, but he he wasn't having it. But yeah, party, have your brother shoot your husband, and then let's throw a party after, and then get an eviction party.
Well, God, when she's on that body cam footage, you wouldn't think that they were reporting a freaking death.
She seemed very calm, like she had no worry in the world.
It was like she was talking her way out of a speeding ticket.
Right.
How it has to make you wonder how far up the chain of command did those videos go? Like, if the police chief saw that video, there was enough information and evidence there when Charles died that it should have never gone any further than that.
Well, and I don't know. I think I cut out for a second. I didn't hear everything that was on my end, but why didn't any of these police officers pick up on her odd behavior? I mean, she wasn't even divorced from Charles. Wouldn't she be upset?
I think that goes back to Jason being a cop. That was Jason's police department. Those were his friends. So he wasn't just coaching her he wasn't allegedly coaching her against other people. Those were his people,
Yeah.
They all probably just jumped into Chad's portal for 7 minutes and discussed everything.
Right, played with his potatoes.
Well, even when she and Tylee, was it her and Tylee that went into the station and gave an interview as well? I thought I saw that. And her behavior then was odd and flirty, and the cop was flirty back with her. It was like a fucking joke.
Yeah, it's gross.
It really is.
And it's weird that Jason was in the car on the corner watching.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jason had already been fired, so it wasn't like he was currently working there either. Like, these were his friends.
It's like the good old boys club.
So, exactly.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it just keeps getting deeper and deeper, like you said, this onion. So, Mr. Danger, will you come back and do like an hour with me on Melanie?
Can we hear about Mustard first?
Yeah, can I tell you about Mustard?
What's that?
Okay. So, someone close to these, to the friends, whatever, they message us and they ask questions and they kind of say, I want to hear a story about something. And hey, take this picture down. I'll tell you a funny story if you take the picture down. I'm like, sure, why not? I would have done it anyway, but since you're being polite. And then she tells us the story that I think Melanie was pregnant. I put a note down. I think she was pregnant or she was just home with the kids and she was sick. She didn't feel good. Brandon had his buddy in the car and he left work early and he went and he picked her up some food. And it was in one of those styrofoam boxes. And he goes over, drives all the way to the house, and he gives Melanie, gets out of the car, walks up, and he hands Melanie the box, and she flips it open, and she looks at him, and she just turns it upside down and drops the food all over just dropped straight into the driveway. And the buddy in the car, I guess, was losing his shit. Like, he was trying not to laugh right in front of their faces, and Brandon kind of looks defeated and he comes walking around the corner and he gets in the car and he said, I knew I shouldn't have put mustard on it.
Oh my God.
All I'm sitting here thinking about now is like Chad's portal, and all I can think of is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in like a phone booth.
What the hell is a portal anyway?
Basically. Hey, well, this closet was big enough for at least like 8 to 10 people to go sit in.
So it was a closet?
It was a closet. It was told to me this was a closet in a 75-year-old man's basement in St. George. There's a 75-year-old man in St. George who has a white room in his house with an altar, and supposedly Julie, Jason, Chad, Lori, Hector, and Mike were all able to portal there and learn to discuss events. And that was before
probably
Mike
AKA have an orgy.
Yeah.
In that closet.
Yeah.
Oh my God. These people give me anxiety.
This is like a movie.
It's the movie that never ends. Like, I'm waiting for the end of it.
It's creepy because you get like weird messages from people saying, "Hey, you need to stop talking about this." I have a background in counterintelligence, and so there was a couple people that had it forwarded, and the news got a hold of it and straight up posted it and called his ass out. And Hector's been like a turtle in a turtle shell.
I mean, there's obviously some dangerous people behind groups.
This will be definitely made into a movie for sure.
His own family, Lori's own family, was scared that Alex was alive and would come back and do something to them. So Melanie saying that she was scared and she was in hiding, it sounds pretty convincing. But I mean, she was just on vacation with her boyfriend in Utah.
Did they take the portal to Hawaii? Is that how they got to Hawaii?
They like portal. I don't know, man. They go and walk into a closet and put their phones on speaker and they talk to each other. They're portaling. Who knows? I don't know exactly what they're doing or how they're all in different places. Or some people are in one place and 2 or 3 people might be somewhere else, and they're all. Chad is the only one that can do this portal, though. Like he's the guy that can build the portal.
And Chad is the only one that can label like dark and light spirits.
Oh yeah, that too. We didn't talk about that.
I know. So, I guess Lori asked him to label her family and stuff. Kids. Is that like a request?
I don't know. It was only Lori's family. There was no one else was on there. Like none of Chad. Well, no, that's not correct. Chad's kids weren't on there.
Right. Her ex-husbands were on there.
Basically, and Summer and Jeff.
And I noticed that Tylee was a dark spirit.
Yeah, Tylee.
According
supposedly,
to Chad.
Lori said that Tylee went dark when she was a teenager.
And do we know what the hell that means? Went dark?
Basically being a pain in the ass, and Lori didn't want to put up with it anymore. You saw Dateline. Lori said that, or Chad said that Oprah was the Dark Lord of the planet.
God, yes.
Like, how stupid is that shit?
I think we should take a poll and have Carl volunteer to go visit this portal.
I don't know if you heard. So Alex's wife, that he went and got married to in Vegas the same time Pulowski's got married.
Yep.
Zulema. Well, Zulema's also a healer, but she's a professional cuddler. So you call her up and she'll come over to your house and she'll cuddle you.
A professional cuddler?
She's a professional cuddler. We have the links to her website. She's taken them down, but we had
people get paid to cuddle?
Wait.
People get paid to cuddle.
And this is
Zulema gets paid to cuddle.
And this
is dead shit. This is real.
Wait, who is this again we're talking about? I'm confused.
Alex's wife.
That lady. Yeah, like the Latino lady.
And you know that Chad told Melanie and Alex that they were supposed to get married. And Melanie was like, no, I'm just going to stay with David. I'm good. Alex, you're disgusting.
So where did Alex
kind of out?
Where did Alex meet the professional cuddler?
She was already doing this vow stuff.
Oh.
Chad's list.
Wow.
She came through the portal.
Right.
And she's from Vegas? Or they just went out there and got married. Just all went out there and got married together. Okay.
That police call from her son was kind of odd.
Is it
found Alex?
He's like, he's still breathing, you need to do CPR, and he's like, no, he's covered in his own shit. I'm not touching him.
I know. He was like, I'm
not
good.
Word for word, but he was like, no.
Well, didn't he say like, oh, I think it's my mom's boyfriend. I never met him or something like that.
He didn't know his last
name. Or I don't know him. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really odd.
I think that kid, it came out that he had like a learning disability. And that's just what I heard. And that might have been why his tone was so he was so monotone about it. Like, this guy's like bleeding out his mouth or foaming out his mouth or whatever he was. And he's covered in his own feces. And he was just really not doing it.
Let's be real. I'm sure you had a stepdad that you didn't like and you came walking in the door and he was butt naked on the floor covered in his own shit and he was still breathing, looked like he was on his way out. You might kind of be like, I'm just going to go have a glass of champagne on the porch and I'll come check on you in 15, bro.
Now, is the pink foam, those are rumors, right? Because wasn't it around...
I don't know. I don't think it was a rumor. I think that it was real.
Oh, it is? It was Alex and who else? And Tammy, right?
Tammy.
They had pink foam coming out of their mouth when they died.
Both of them did?
There's a lot of people in the group that are in the medical field and whatnot who have said, pink foam could be this, or this. And it sounds like a pretty logical explanation. And Alex's tox results came back and they said that everything was normal. So I don't know. Tammy, her stuff's taking forever, but she was embalmed. So I don't think maybe Alex wasn't. That's why his stuff got back.
Someone said foam and bowel movement is a sign of poisoning.
Yeah, I mean, bowel movement, you shit yourself.
No matter what, when you die.
If you're in liver failure, you shit yourself.
Yeah, I think when you die,
drinkers out there,
your muscles just let go.
Right.
Yeah.
Carl, they just
now what's with this flower from Yellowstone?
The flower from Yellowstone?
Yeah, I saw somewhere about the flowers in Yellowstone saying that the poisonous flowers or something.
Oh, okay. So I don't know the name of it, but there's people that are into like spiritual stuff. They're into rocks, and so they know like all these things, like Lori's ring made of malachite. Is that how you pronounce? Oh, I don't know. That's how you pronounce it. Let's go with it. That ground it up into a powder, and if someone were to accidentally breathe it in, would be highly lethal. There's some pretty smart people in the group that have come up with some things, and they've looked some stuff up. And then there's some people that are like really, really smart, and they know exactly what they're talking about. They've seen it personally. So it's like there's all these things that you can see making sense.
There's definitely a lot of pieces to this puzzle.
Yeah, well, I mean, so that was the one thing we were talking about where you want to be like allegedly, use the word allegedly. Allegedly, someone had gone, and while Tammy was getting out of the car with groceries, they ran up on her, and it looked like a paintball gun, and it made a misfiring noise. And then the guy just ran off, and Tammy ran in the house, and Chad came out and looked for the guy, and the guy was nowhere. So they've said that it was a silencer on a handgun, which Alex had a silencer on his gun, and there are silencers that you can swap from a pistol and a rifle, whatnot. But people were conflicted with Alex's body type, like his size, that it didn't fit the description. And if you look at somebody before they started getting fat because their wife's pregnant, he fits the description of who was running away. Or he would fit the description of who it was. Know what I mean?
For sure. Oh my god, I'm echoing.
And what have you done?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Her AirPods died.
My AirPods died. I'm on my second pair. But wow, I mean, I didn't even know half of the stuff that you're talking about. The background on Chad and all of those cult people. But I have to go back because I'm intrigued, I guess, by the whole dynamics of the Cox family and like how Melanie's mother died, and like I don't know who raised her or like how she was raised. Like I want to talk about that, and then I want to talk about like things that you found out about her, or maybe about her involvement.
About Melanie's involvement?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, like, I want to do like another live with you just about all of that.
Okay, that's cool.
You do that, Carl?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
You heard it.
Yeah.
You heard it, Melissa.
7 parts.
7 part. Is that what you said?
7-part series.
Oh shit! It probably could be at least, right?
I use my portal to look into the future.
I appreciate you sharing all of this stuff with us, though. I don't have time to like read groups. You know, like I'm in your group, of course. I don't have time to like read all that stuff. So I love that you're kind of recapping that you guys talk about.
It's like one of those things, if you take a day off, you're lost.
Right.
Like you just spend.
Well, God, I remember.
So without our.
I didn't know that. The Cox has another daughter who died at 6 weeks old between Alex and Lori. Her name was Laura. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. They had a baby that died and named it Laura, and then had a
What did Laura die from? It's 6 weeks.
I don't know, but why would you name your baby that died Laura and then name your next daughter Laura?
Jay, someone keeps asking what happened to the Julie Rowe interview series.
Well, I guess bodies were found and
She's in the portal.
she was upset and in the portal. I'm just kind of like giving her privacy.
In the portal.
I'm giving her privacy. She's always respected me, you know, and I don't want to disrespect her. I don't know her life, but she was upset and wanted to hold off, I guess.
And there's been some new accusations that have come out that make it this Julie Rowe discussion a little more difficult to talk about.
Mm.
So she accused Chad of sexual assault. He came up and rubbed his genitals on her.
I read that in chat when you were talking. When did she come out with the accusation?
So apparently she just did it on Inside Edition.
Oh my god!
There's
So
an
just
article
when he
on Inside
was
Edition that came out.
after he was arrested.
Yeah, and this was like her fourth time interviewing with Inside Edition, so it seems suspicious. But I've been talking to some people who were close into a vow and preparing a people, and they attended these things, but they weren't really as like full blown Melanie crazy. They were just kind of interested in having these things in their life to prepare them for the future, whatnot. And they said that Julie had made some accusations around the same time that it happened, which, it could bring. I don't know. With everything that's going, I have a hard time saying that it didn't happen or that it did because of the stories that she's told. But I'm not going to say it didn't. I'm not going to say it didn't happen. Just it's hard because of the other stuff that she said. So. But
Yeah,
I don't know
and
why,
the
but
whole
I'm
thing with
sitting
her,
here picturing all these people naked in the woods around a fire on some heavy duty shrooms with a portal.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know.
No, like this doesn't even seem real.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Like I'm actually kind of scared that people like this exist.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
Maybe
so
I'm
weird. Like
maybe
I
I'm
said,
sheltered, but
there's so much information passed
what's
around in this.
crazy is remember we interviewed Melissa, that friend of Lori's, Echo.
Echo. Yes, Echo.
And Echo was like, "Oh my god, my daughter loved Lori, and like the girls always wanted to hang out with Lori, and Lori did everything with them, and blah blah blah." She made her sound like, and she was like, she was a wonderful mother and a wonderful wife, and her and Charles seemed so happy. I mean, was this just the show that Lori put on, or what?
I think she was like Disneyland mom, right? Charles did the work. Lori had the money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Echo did say, that Lori seemed like a good mother. I mean, Echo's daughter, like you said, liked her a lot. I mean, she didn't see any
Didn't they
weird...
also like fly her daughter to Hawaii with them or something?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, several times.
Good point.
Have you talked to her friend April?
No, one that was on Dateline.
She's really nice. Yeah, she was on.
Yeah,
she's been on there.
No, I haven't talked. She is nice.
April. You can shoot me a message. I'll tell you about it. I don't want to say it, but I'll tell you.
Okay.
Maybe I can introduce you to her and see if she wants to chat with you.
Okay. So we can talk about that.
She has a lot of information that I don't know if Dateline chose not to share it or if there was just so much information that Dateline chose something else, but it shouldn't have been left out.
Yeah, I mean it could be one of those two things or both. But I know what you're saying, and I would love to talk to her because, I did talk to that girlfriend of hers, Echo, and she painted this picture, and when I watched Dateline the first couple times when they did this case, I felt like they kind of portrayed Lori as like this wonderful mother, who was, the picture perfect family, blah blah blah. Then she met Chad Daybell, and everything changed, and it doesn't sound like that's really the case.
Right. It sounds like she was having issues in her marriage, and Chad found her, preyed on her, and sucked her in, and made it
easy
1,000 times worse.
Yeah. But it sounds to me like she's always been, a kind of like a self-righteous, selfish. Like
someone wants to ask if they investigated any connection between Chad and the Kiplin Davis case when he was a grave digger in high school.
Some lady was just like, hey, you guys know that Chad Daybell lives in Springville? Well, there's this girl that she went and disappeared, and they've never really arrested anyone, and Chad Daybell's a suspect. And everyone was like, what? No.
Mm-hmm.
And it started blowing up. And then she was like, everyone kept asking, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? And she finally said Kiplin Davis. And then all of us people from Utah were like, oh, okay, knock it off. Because they already know. Those people have already been arrested. Daybell was never even remotely involved. There was nothing about him. But it was just something that happened.
It would be coincidence.
Yeah. It would have been like if Chad lived in Salt Lake City when Mackenzie Luke disappeared.
Now, do you know if there was any reaction from Lori after her children were found?
Okay, so that's why you keep seeing all these stories about homeboy Andy, because another group admin from another group made the statement, Lori was told that Chad was arrested and that they pulled up the kids and she did this, and this, and this. And then like an hour or so later, she was like, okay, so I guess that didn't happen. Sorry. Like, was like, you guys have 15 minutes to finish up your conversations and I'm archiving the group. And then she archived the group. And before she did that, she had to bash Annie Cushing, and then she had to bash our group for who knows what. So that's people. We let everyone in. We let family members in. We warn everyone, like, this might not be the group for you, but we're not going to kick you out of it. Like, unless you're doing some serious hood rat shit, like, you can pretty much get away with anything in here. Just be polite to others.
Don't do any hood rat shit.
Yeah, with your hood rat friends, right?
Just respect one another. That's hard when you have 15,000 people in one group.
Yeah, we have 15,000 people, and Andy Ryan is our Latarian Milton. He's the one that's doing hood rat shit with his hood rat friends.
I wonder if it's Roger.
No, it's not Roger.
Good old Raj. I love Roger.
Yeah, no, it's not Raj. He's in there. He's definitely a shit stirrer, but he's not stirring that shit.
Michael Turtle Kelly.
Oh,
Oh God.
No.
Just those names.
It's not him either.
So funny.
No, not him either.
Well, we've been gabbing for 2 hours. Are you tired?
What I say, Melissa? 7 parts, 2 hours.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
2 hours. It's been over 2 hours, no?
It's 11. We went on at 9, right? Yeah, 2 hours. Well, when do you want to do the next one, Mr. Danger?
Just not on Thursdays because I have dinner with my grandpa.
What is today?
Friday.
Friday.
Well, what about tomorrow?
Let me read what this just said, and then I'll tell you.
Do what?
No, I just got a message that...
Well, we'll figure it out.
He's busy going. He's busy going
to
Costco tomorrow.
And Annie put up the link to the Facebook group, the chat.
Oh yeah, Andrea's she's my homegirl. She's my partner in crime.
Hey, Dawn says they labeled Lauren death as Sid's. Was it Lauren or Laura?
Laura.
Laura is Sid.
I think she was 6 weeks old, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Gosh. So how many kids did they have total? Like, if you include the baby, 6?
Yeah,
Popping
6.
them out like Skittles.
Yeah, half of them are dead.
Yeah, right? Alex wasn't around the first one, so he's not even a suspect on that.
I wouldn't be surprised if, like, someone else ends up dead soon.
See,
I don't want to talk about that.
When I've been talking with people,
oh my God.
When I've been talking with people that are like in the network or were in the network type thing, like I ask, who are you scared of? Like when you say why you won't interview with the news or you don't want to use your real profile, and you just give me these stories to share with everyone, like, who are you afraid of? And every time it was Alex and Jason Moe. People say Hector, but they say that he can just basically digitally destroy you, like hack into your bank and steal all your money and message your mom some photos off your iCloud.
But they were like physically afraid of Alex and Ben?
Yeah. There's other people that we're not familiar with. You know, everyone kind of went underground.
In the portal.
Yeah, everyone's hiding in the portal.
Melissa needs to see that portal, okay?
After this, I'm probably going to look on Amazon if they sell portals.
They probably do. They sell Chet's books. You'll probably find a portal.
Is it true that he wrote about a murder when he was in the 4th grade?
Okay, so when I told Melissa that I was working on something, I was talking to someone who grew up with him, and I was hoping that they were going to be able to get me someone that read the book or had a copy and would either just like give me a quick book review about it or just give me a copy. Because it said Chad had the only copy at the time, but you know, he didn't just make one copy and keep it to himself. You know, he went and printed that shit off. So that's what I was trying to get. That's what I was hoping we've been pretty good at getting everything. Like if we focus our mind on one certain thing, we all know certain people, certain stuff on the internet. Like we can find stuff pretty good. So I was hoping that, but maybe by next time, maybe by tomorrow, who knows?
Well,
Yeah, I don't know why I can't get over this portal thing.
oh my God, I cannot.
See, it's more like, you know, what was that game growing up? 7 Minutes in Heaven in the Closet. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's why I said 7 minutes in Chad's portal.
In Chad's portal.
God. Bunch of weirdos.
Crazy. Crazy. That's a good question, Melissa. She says, do you think Lori will get away with this?
No.
You don't think so?
No. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, no, I wasn't just
Damn it.
asking you. Melissa in chat asked that question.
I know, but I want to.
I was asking both of you. You
I
think?
think Alex is going to take the rap for
That's what I was just
the
going to say.
worst shit. But
They're going to put it on Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
If this was in
ultimately,
California, she would probably go scot-free. But I'm holding out some hope for Idaho.
Even Florida, too. I mean, look at Casey Anthony.
Yeah. I think we'd all like to see her burn in hell.
Mm-hmm.
in the portals of hell.
I've delivered her to that portal.
Well, all right, I'm gonna get off of here, but it's been awesome talking to you.
You too. It was fun.
It was fun. So you let me know. We'll talk and we'll figure out our next time. All right.
All right. Yeah. Just shoot me a message. Just let me know whenever.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Thanks,
Cool.
Carl. Thanks, Melissa.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
All right. We'll ask you about your butthole next time.
Okay. Maybe I'll wear the shirt.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Well, thanks you guys for joining us tonight. A wealth of knowledge. Can't wait to do the next one. So many questions lead into other things, and it's just there's no way to like stay on one topic with this case. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. So you guys have a good rest of your night. Not quite Saturday yet, but enjoy your weekend, you guys.